Yo, what's up, y'all? Real quick, I got a board here that I'm currently regripping, and I figured I would do a tutorial and show y'all how I regrip my fingerboards. So, first thing I gotta do is take off all the old tape. And one thing I do with my decks when I make them is I apply the same amount of clear coat that I do on the bottom to the top. So that way it makes it way easier to get your old tape off your board. I hate when companies don't clear coat the top of their boards, because then when you put foam tape down on that raw wood, it just like sticks to it so much. It's so hard to get that like layer of adhesive kind of off there. But these are nice and clear coated, so all you just kind of do is peel a little bit and then it comes right off. And you want to make sure you get all of that sticky residue off, because if you don't, then when you put your grip tape over it, you might feel little micro bubbles over it or something like that. So just to get all of that off and get it back to how it was looking before. There we go. So now it's ready for new grip. At this point, it's optional whether you want to take the trucks off or keep them on and regrip it. Just for demonstration and like quickness sake, I'm just going to grip over my screws, because I really don't feel like taking the trucks off right now and kind of just going through all that. It's just way quicker to put the tape on and go from there. Well, that wasn't even recording. Anyway, I fixed the lighting. I'm less backlit now. And I got some star sheets here. I already just peeled it off the thing, unfortunately. I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. Anyway, star sheets will be available on my site coming this week, so be on the lookout for that. It's some nice like millimeter thick foam tape, but it's definitely very grippy. And the reason I like it is because it doesn't take very long to break in or to wear in. It feels great out of the package. I don't even have to really roll any tape on it. It just feels good, just kind of as is. So, and it wears in nicely too. So that's the reason I chose to sell it on my site. And as you can see, it's just normal white back tape. It's not the 3M kind. For my opinion, I find the 3M kind a little bit too thin. So this is just right for me. So anyway, star sheets. Look for them soon on anxiettyoffline.com. Now, how I lay this on the board is, once you get all your little stickies off there, I also like to double check that my screws are all equally tight. We just want them at this stage. So what I do is I'll take my star sheet and lay it sticky side up on my desk. And then there's a star here, which I like the star to kind of be right above my back right screw. So kind of like right there-ish. So what I do is take my tape, lay it down, and then take my board and then just kind of roughly put it where I want the star to be. And then before you press anything down, just line everything up. And then just push the middle of your board down, not like making contact with the grip tape. What I'm doing here is just pushing it enough to make the nose and the tail actually stick to the tape. And then from there, you can kind of roughly check your placement to see if the star is where you want it. So if you're as OCD as me, maybe you'll redo it a couple times or whatever. I don't really know, but that looks about good to me. I actually might push it back a little bit. So let me realign that. So all I'm going to do is just pick it up off the sticky and then put it in the spot that I wanted it at. And now the star is kind of more where I want it. So one thing is you'll see I don't have a lot of room here on the nose. I only got a couple millimeters of extra tape there on the nose. So what I'm going to do is, before I flatten it down, as you can see, it's still just kind of hovering above the board there. So what I'm going to do is, because I don't have a lot of room there, I don't want to press it down on the back and then pull the tape back this way and then leave a gap, leave a weird line there. So what I'm going to do is just kind of start sticking down the nose a little tiny bit, and then unstick the tailpiece, and then just let go, and then start pushing from the middle and flattening your tape down. And what that'll do is you'll make sure, if you do it that way, then you'll make sure the tape actually is laid into the concaves, because if you were to just have the tape floating there on the top, like stuck to the nose and tail, and then just like push it straight down, you'd still have some tension there where the concaves are, and over time you'd see that start to like come up. And I've seen a lot of boards, my own included even before I kind of discovered this, where I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see this on camera, but like the tape will start to lift off kind of in these corners right here. So if you do it that way, if you kind of like gently stick it, line it up, and then, you know, secure one side first and then just go down the middle, you know, securing the rest of it, then you'll know for sure you have like a really nice bond on there, no air bubbles or anything like that. And I gotta say, it looks really good and it feels good too. I like this tape a lot. I can even sesh it without cutting it up. But here's the next step, definitely a pretty crucial step. And what I like to use for this is a metal diamond file. I sell them on my website. They're just simple metal files with rubber handles. I think they're kind of like a nicer premium one. They come in a bunch of different shapes and sizes. I have two here. This one's kind of like a more sharper one, but it's got a beveled edge, which is kind of really useful for some concave pieces. And then this one just all the way around. I think this is my favorite one of all of them. But no matter which one you have, they all pretty much work the same. All you're going to do is grab your board, grab your file, and then start sanding downward. You don't want to sand both ways because you only really want to break the adhesive layer of that tape, and that's really just about it. So be careful, go nice and slow because I've done this too fast before. And I've actually I've gone to sand, and then when I've came back, I've stabbed the bottom of my deck, just moving way too fast. So go super slow and just trace the edges of your deck, always sanding downward, always sanding downward. People always ask in the comments, what do you mean by that? All I mean by that is just like I'm holding my board, grip tape up, and I'm only sanding down. I don't want to sand back up, because I've already sanded down. If I sand back up, I'm going to start tearing into the actual wood of the deck and just making a huge mess of this grip tape here. As you can see, if I try to go back and forth, it just starts making just a big mess. So if you just go straight down, maybe a little bit at a 45-degree angle, you'll see that adhesive layer starting to break, and the nice clean wood edge is left. And just got to go around the nose and the tail here. Get the rest of that loosened up. And if there's spots where it's still together, just kind of give it another light sanding and just keep going all the way around as evenly as you can. As you can see here, it's stuck on. Oh, there we go. Took that piece off. So now we've broken all that adhesive layer. So now we can pretty much just take this whole extra piece and just peel. And like I said, if it's stuck anywhere, just give it a little more sanding with that diamond file, and then boom, it breaks right through it. And it makes it super clean. No jagged edges, no nothing. So I got my piece of tape here, and this will probably end up getting used on the bottom of like an obstacle or something like that. I'll find a way to recycle it. So there we go, nice clean grip job. I didn't even clean up the edges yet, and I gotta say, it looks just good as is. So one thing I've always done to clean it up is just using my t-shirt. So I'll just take my board, take my shirt, and just kind of go along the edges of the grip tape and just kind of get rid of any excess. If there's any excess adhesive, any loose foam tape hanging off there, which there really shouldn't be because we use the metal file, that'll kind of clean it up. You can also kind of just run your finger across it and just feel for any adhesive, anything extra you got to get off. And there we go. I gotta say, that looks pretty freaking clean. Feels good too, nice and refreshed.